Hi everyone, I'm Helen Campbell and welcome to my channel Make Your Botanicals Bloom. In this short video I'm going to share with you why I feel it is unnecessary to spend a lot of money on paints and materials to start creating your watercolour paintings. A lot of people have asked me about the materials that I use and do I have a lot of paints and brushes and everything that one needs to paint. The short answer is no, I actually don't. I think it's a misconception that if you're a painter for a living, that you have a huge stash of paint somewhere. What I will say, and it's really important, that I think less is more. When I started painting, I had, as I'm sure all of you do, a sort of tendency to go out and buy every single paint that was on the market, and it really isn't necessary. I haven't bought paint for such a long time because they last forever. So without further ado, let me show you what I use, all the equipment that you'll need, and let's get started. Okay, so obviously when we're talking about watercolour painting, we need paper to begin with. I have quite a few sheets of different types of watercolour paper. Here's one with an apple that I did for a tutorial earlier in the year through lockdown. But you can see the different textures that I have. There are many different brands of watercolour paper, but I favour Saunders Waterford, which is this one here. You can see the watermark on the bottom. And the one I have here, the rougher texture, is again Saunders Waterford. Usually for botanical painting, it's the smoother one that you would use, but I actually quite like the texture of this one, so I have that in my stash, and mostly these lovely smooth, just moving my camera so you can see that it's very, very smooth and without bumps. Very good for botanical art or indeed any other art, and it's 100% cotton, so it means that the paint is absorbed really easily. Alongside that we have my magnifying glass, which helps me when I'm zooming in on my subjects. My brushes, which are the two that I usually use, are my flat brush, which is synthetic. This is really good for erasing paint, so if you make a mistake you would just damp your brush and gently move it with this, and I'll do a separate video on that in the future. And the other brush that I use most of the time is my number 4 or number 3 spotter. This one's actually a branded one that I had done, but these are very short bristled brushes that have a really fine point, and these are the ones that I use all the time, pretty much. And you can use them for small detail or larger washes, and those are the only two brushes that I would ever recommend my students would buy, because there's no need to sort of splash out on lots of different ones unless you really want to, but you don't need to. And of course, most importantly, my paints. People have asked me whether I prefer pans or whether I prefer tubes, and the answer is it really doesn't matter, because whatever I buy, I squeeze them into the empty pan, or I buy them as a pan so that I can reuse them and keep them safe and away from dust with its little lid here. And I also use this part of it to mix my paints rather than a separate palette, because everything's in one place, along with my colour chart here. This represents all the colours that I have in my palette here, so that I don't have to second guess what the colours are. And again, that fits neatly inside so that I can keep it with me at all times if I'm out and about teaching. So that really works. What I'll do at the end of this video and the end of the discussion is I will put a link to another video that I've done about my colour chart and how I do it and how I use it to create the colours that I need. So thank you for watching. I hope you found this video helpful, and remember, if you like it, to give me a thumbs up and to hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss any future tips, tricks or hacks. Thank you for watching.